I will tell you that I'll break it down in my own mind here, the order of precedence. I would first try to work with a free accredited body, right? Whether it's a veteran service officer, veteran service rep, or the veteran service organizations like VFW, American Legion, DAV, so on and so forth. Even going over to Wounded Warrior Project, they have accredited reps as well. That would be my first step. If I can't do that for whatever reason, right? Whatever the reason is that I can't make that happen, then I would, and before all of that, I would educate myself. There's a billion different YouTube channels out there. There's tons of information online. The VA's website is a good resource. Learn and understand kind of the process. Then what I would do, if I couldn't use an accredited body, I would then file the claim myself, doing the best that I could on the VA's website. And if it gets denied, or if it comes back unfavorable, in my opinion, then what I would do is I would file either what's called a higher level review or a supplemental claim. Higher level review is maybe they missed something that I gave them and you point it out to them so they can see what they may have missed that should warrant your appropriate outcome. A supplemental allows you to add additional evidence, documentation to your case. So maybe you missed something, they called it out, and so now you're going to supply that so they can award you in your favor. If that falls apart, then I would do one of two things. I would either contact a claims agent or attorney, or I would feel confident enough to file a appeal through the Board of Appeals, the Board of Veterans Appeals. And that's the route that I would go. If that fell apart, then maybe I would go to one of these companies, right? Because the cost is just unbelievably expensive. So again, I'm going to double tap on what you said, Chris, real quick. You said that you filed, or you did your VA loan, you got identified as a veteran, you started receiving stuff in the mail or text or whatever. These organizations, because they're for profit, have the ability to be proactive, right? So they're looking. Imagine if a local veteran service officer had enough personnel and enough money to where they could do that and reach out to everybody and go, hey, we're here, come see us, right? But they're not. So they won't, because they don't have the manpower, the bandwidth, the money, any of that. So that's the big difference. And I think that if Congress really wants to get it right, it's not about eliminating these companies. It's about funding the appropriate resources. So I saw you bounced off or came off mute for a second. Randy, did you want to add anything to that before I move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one little important detail that I think the viewer should keep in mind. You went through a really good ladder there, Jason, of kind of how you would approach this. You know, you started with the VSO piece, and then, hey, if nothing else, you can get it yourself, get the paperwork done yourself, and then tweak it later through the various, processes that are out there. I wanted to add, if you're having trouble connecting with a VSO, somebody that's really good, and you might need to try a couple to make sure you gel with that person and you can work with them, get an intent to file done. File your intent to file, and that's going to start your clock. So Jason's talking about this, kind of triaging, how do we get through this? And if I can't get the help from this person, then maybe I tackle it myself. In any case, if you go through the intent to file process, it's short, sweet. You can call the VA and start it. You can fill out their form and mail it in. You can do it online. There's a bunch of different options. It backdates your claim to that point in time. So I just didn't want the audience to lose sight of that. Everything Jason said is true, but get the intent to file done, because if nothing else, and if you receive some compensation, it'll be backdated. That's all I wanted to throw in there, Jason.
Yeah, that's a great add and a great catch, Randy. Thank you so much. Very important. Chris, did you want to add something?
Yeah, it besides going to the VSOs or reaching out online, a lot of counties have stand downs quite frequently that are not only meant to give veterans the assistance they need in the moment, whether it be dental care or eye exams, hearing exams. it's also a place where you can meet up with the VSOs on both fronts, the veteran service organizations and the veteran service officers. And so there are places that you could go talk to people in person to get real good information.
Great point, Chris. So the couple great ads there. The intent to file, absolutely. If you're even thinking about going down the road of filing a VA claim, file that intent to file. If you don't know where to find resources, Google search them and see if there's anything near you. And if there's ever a veteran stand down near you, they're typically targeting homeless veterans, but all the services are there for you, and you should just show up and meet people and get. I'm going to use the word Rolodex. I get it. That's old, but you could build that kind of catalog, we'll say, of people
It's an
in
analog
industry.
CRM.
And Chris is laughing. Yes, there you go. That's so fancy, Chris. So that way you have these contacts, right? And that's what it's about is knowing who you need to contact for what. And I'll tell you what, be that resource for other veterans, right? If you find this stuff out, and then you could share it with your sphere of influence.